Welcome back, man, to another episode of Spoon Fed Sports. I am your host, Spoon. This is my co-host, Joe Scott. What's going on, Joe?
Yo, it's good. Happy Saturday, folks.
The best day of the week is upon us. Saturday is finally here. But first, I'm gonna apologize to my family if they're watching this. Get this shit out of here, man. I Mike
Uh-oh.
Norvell, Mike Norvell got to be fired. We're not going to a bowl game again. I don't even care about a bowl game. Celebrating bowl games and going to bowl games, that's stuff that NC State and Georgia Tech do. Florida State don't celebrate going to a bowl game. 6 wins is crazy. The fact that we can't get 6 wins is wow. Oh, man.
Especially the way y'all started the season.
I can't even watch the game. Bro, I can't watch the game. I can't finish watching a Florida State game right now.
I'm not a fan, and last night, that was a tough watch.
Gosh, bro.
Hate that for y'all, man.
It's stress. Like, how does he still have a job? Like, how does he still have a job?
I have no idea.
I've been seeing posts where there's been comments like it's the players aren't performing up to par. They're dropping passes. They're committing penalties. They're doing all these things. Okay, that's coaching, though.
Yeah.
Like you either coach it or you tolerate it. Right? Because in my profession, if my team is underperforming, I'm accountable for that.
Right.
I can't just say, "Oh, well, hey, they suck. I don't know what's going on." Like, I don't know.
You're right.
It's your responsibility as the leader to get the team together, stop committing penalties, be able to hold on to the damn football. But Florida State, like, this is out of hand, bro. Like, that's North Carolina State. You scored 11 points.
And you know, when you watch the games, it looks like they're unprepared a lot of weekends, man. It doesn't make much sense to me. Like they come out and it looks flat as if like they had a week off, like no practice, no nothing. So he's got to go. They've got to make a change there. I don't know who they could go get per se, but he's clearly not the
Melo said, as a leader, I'm saying people suck. Chill.
guy.
But dog, Florida State can't be this bad. Like, I'm just thinking of recruiting footprint. I mean, you got access to South Georgia, you got access to North, Central, and South Florida kids. We've seen what Jimbo Fisher was able to come in there and do in a very short amount of time. Even with the transfer portal, bro. Like, how do you continue to miss on guys? And then when you get someone who we feel like should make a difference, nothing. And I'll give Norvell that one season where Jordan Travis got hurt. I understand.
Yeah,
But every year we continue to keep him after this, it set Florida State back another 2 years.
yeah, I agree with you. You know, maybe somebody needs to eat crow, man. Because in my opinion, y'all need to go get Jimbo back. Jimbo sitting on the sofa somewhere. He probably on a podcast just like us.
He is.
Yeah, you need to get Jimbo a call. Jimbo come back and then he writing that shit in 2 seasons.
Oh, Jimbo
For
was
sure.
crying a couple weeks ago
Yeah.
on a
On
pregame
game
show
day.
because he's talking about how much he missed being in Tallahassee.
Florida State better make that call. I don't know if it's a private thing or what, but Jimbo gonna get them boys back right. That's for sure. We know that.
Yeah. Yeah, he might leave us again, but at least he get us back right.
I don't know. When you was crying, he might never leave again.
All right, so coaching carousel, yeah, Vitek, baby. Hire James Franklin. I think it's a great hire. Accountability, leader of men, something that a lot of schools could use. Speaking of one, Florida State, I was very disappointed that we couldn't get James Franklin. Um, there are a lot of other openings out there, though, man. Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, LSU, probably Ole Miss here in a couple weeks. We'll find out. What do you think of the James Franklin hire at Virginia Tech?
I think it's a great hire for them, man. Franklin is he's nothing else. He's an excellent recruiter, man. I think he's a good coach. The knock on him is that he just hasn't been able to get over the hump per se.
Mm-hmm.
But in the ACC, somewhere like Tech, where he has access to, all of Virginia, he's going to probably get some kids out of Georgia, some folks up north. I think he's going to turn them around. I think he's going to turn them around quickly because he's
Yeah.
going to get his guys in their spots. I think Tech is back on the map with this hire, man. Not saying they're necessarily going to be national title contenders and all that, but unlike Penn State, Tech is a place where if you go and you win 10 games, they are thrilled with the football program.
Yeah.
Penn State, he got Penn State so good, and there was so much hype around Penn State that Penn State forgot they were Penn State. I mean, Penn State hasn't won since early Paterno, but they talk as if, they're Ohio State or, they're just this program that dominates. That's not the case. But, coming out in a slow start after being, ranked preseason number one, number two, I believe it was, he wasn't gonna see the end of that. Just the way they lost last year, which in my opinion wasn't on him. That was execution on the players' part. But he took the brunt of that. Happy Valley, like I said, 10 wins there isn't good enough. They feel like they should be winning titles, even though they're typically the third best team in their conference. But
Yeah. So the
they're the fourth.
so this is a big, big hire. James Franklin recruits the Northeast better than really any other coach in college football, and he has been doing that for a really long time. I don't use the words DMV because I don't think that's a thing. Being from Baltimore, that's not really a thing. Like DC is their own thing. Like we from Baltimore, we is not from the DMV. So Franklin has been able to go in and recruit inside of Maryland, inside of DC area, and he has dominated recruiting in Virginia while at Penn State. If he's able to put a fence on that area, which I believe he will be able to, I could see Virginia Tech being back in the top 25 in two years. And with the transfer portal, I wouldn't be surprised to see him ranked next year. Because
Yeah,
that's the thing. You got to realize when that portal opens up, that changes everything. Because now, like, you can go and get an experienced quarterback. There's already talk about him bringing Aguilar over from Penn State, bringing him to Virginia Tech along with him. So you may already have a quarterback. I mean, that guy was projected to be a first round pick. So if you already got your quarterback, Virginia Tech's typically always got a tough defense. And Lane Stadium is a tough place to play.
and you think about the commits that decommitted so quickly after he was fired.
Mm-hmm.
Those kids are out there, and you know, if you think James Franklin isn't on their wasn't on their phone immediately, you're nuts. Like I know he's on those kids trying to get them to come to Virginia Tech, trying to get them to move over. Even to some of the kids that are still committed that may be on the fence. A lot of those kids that were going to Penn State were going to Penn State because of James Franklin. Um,
Yeah.
like you said, Blacksburg is a great place to play, man. I mean, Beamer and them boys, you said that place rocking.
Yep.
And I think they get back to that standard real fast.
Yeah. No, it's a great pickup for them. Um, I said another ACC school seems to be getting stronger. Do I like it for us at Florida State? No. But I do love the fact that the conference overall will be getting a little stronger. Um, so, hey, it is what it is. But congratulations to Coach Franklin. Lane Kiffin, On to another topic there. Really, just staying along the coaching carousel. I made a we had a post the other day. Guy came on there, out of Mississippi, and said, "What are your sources?" So I'm going to give you a source today. Sports Illustrated is the source. Okay, LSU offering Lane Kiffin a deal up to $90 million. That would tie him as the highest paid coach in the sport. They are also promising NIL related roster investments exceeding $25 million. This is at LSU. What do you feel Lane's going to do next week? Because he said he's going to announce his decision after the Egg Bowl, which is a little weird as far as timing is concerned, as far as an announcement after a rivalry game. So what do you think?
Right. I I think Ole Miss wants to be done with this one way or the other. Um, I think their AD and president are kind of irritated by the attention that this is drawing.
Yeah.
But that kind of comes with Lane Kiffin, period, man. He's kind of got that vibrato about him. Kind of got a little swag to him. So, and to add fuel to the fire, I know they said his son apparently posted a picture on his Instagram of him in some LSU gear. So,
What?
yeah, man. Yeah, I heard that on ESPN yesterday. So, it, I think, I think Lane almost can't not leave that because this can't be one of those things where every year they're going through this and where's Lane gonna go? What's Lane gonna do? Like that. That's hard on a team. Especially when you're trying to build. It's still establishing the Ole Miss. He's still trying to
Hmm.
get top notch recruits.
Yeah.
Can't keep being a thing every season. So, and with the deal that LSU was offering, it's not many other schools that can offer that, man. And I mean, we're talking about LSU, a school that you could, that has that feel and that kind of prestige to it that
Hmm.
you don't even necessarily need 25 million NIL money to get top players to come there.
You
But
don't.
on top of what LSU already brings, I'm gonna give you 25 mil to go get kids. What will we already have? That and Lane's a great recruiter, man. I think if he goes to LSU, he's going to win multiple national titles.
I can see that. If all things were equal, because I keep a lot of reports are okay. LSU offered this, but Ole Miss is willing to match any offer, and so are the Florida Gators. Let's say all things were equal.
Right.
The worst job out of the three, no matter the money. Let's say the money was all the same, no matter what school he chose. They're offering the same contract. Either way, Ole Miss would be the worst of the three jobs.
Absolutely.
Ole Miss is easily the worst of the three jobs. One,
Yeah.
recruiting. You just mentioned recruiting, right? LSU, you immediately got ties to Texas. You have ties over the entire South, right? You're bordering Texas. You're right there. has a top 5 to 15 recruiting class, no matter who the coach is.
Yep.
Like talent just walks into LSU, and you got it in your own backyard, right? Let's go to
Right.
Florida. All things equal, you go to, and I would hate for this to happen. Like, hate it. But I understand what would happen if he goes to Florida. He would
Yeah.
dominate the recruiting footprint in Florida because of the type of guy he is, the level of swag that he has, and he can walk into a kid's home and pitch him outside of just the financial piece, just playing in his offense, being able to get him to the next level. Right. So now you have Central Florida. This is what frustrates me about Florida State with Mike Norvell. You should be able to recruit if you have access to Central Florida, South Florida, and North Florida. A lot of people don't know this. Gainesville sits smack dab in the middle, right? So when we talk about that recruiting piece in the state of Florida, you got 4.5, 5 hour ride down to Miami to recruit, or you can take a 2.5 hour, 3 hour ride to North Florida to recruit. But Florida is at a much better advantage recruiting wise when you talk about proximity to home than Miami is or Florida State is because they're both at the far ends of each spectrum. Miami is way
Right.
down in South Florida, right? Tallahassee's way up in North Florida. You can get to Georgia in 30 minutes. I don't think people
Yeah.
realize the distance between these schools.
Yeah.
Like if you were to drive from Tallahassee to Miami, you're looking at 9 hours. I can leave Baltimore and go like to Ohio. Like realistic, like to put it
Yeah.
like so
Yeah.
you can really understand the distance between these schools because you think like, oh, well, they're in Florida, like they must be really close. No, to get from Tallahassee to Miami, it's about a 9 hour drive. That's a long ways.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So when you're Florida and you sit right in the middle of the state, you have the benefit of being able to pull from the north, the south, and then you got Tampa that's only about an hour and 45 minutes away from campus. So I think Lane would do would absolutely dominate inside of the state of Florida as far as recruiting is concerned. And when it comes to winning, he's won basically everywhere he's been.
Absolutely.
It's been off
Am
the
I-
field
am-
issues that's really caused Lane
yeah.
a lot of his trouble.
Yeah.
Off the
Because
field
I
things.
mean, if you prove you can recruit at Ole Miss, you can recruit anywhere. Like, you know, Ole Miss is in the SEC, so they're going to get some talent. But he's gotten, top classes, like I said, at a school that doesn't have the prestige.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they've had good players here and there throughout the years. I remember when they had, AJ Brown and DJ Metcalf at the same time, which is insane. Um, but if that's the type of talent, that's coming to Ole Miss, imagine what you can do. We know what comes out of LSU. We know the receivers and the linebackers and the linemen that have come out of LSU. And
Yeah.
so now you throw Lane Kiffin into that mix with some NIL money.
Yep.
Man, he's top 3 class every season.
Every season. So huge game today in the ACC. Miami's chances of making the ACC championship, as crazy as it sounds, they got very small chance. They need a lot of things to go their way in order to make the ACC championship. However, they can still potentially make the college football playoff. As of right now, they're projected to be in the playoff and not even have to play in the ACC championship. But this game, apparently, tons of recruits will be at this game today for Virginia Tech. They are home underdog 17 and a half points. This is a noon kickoff. It's a road game. It's Miami. They have not played a ton of road games this year, and when we have seen them on the road, they have not looked great. Do you feel like the 17 and a half is a little too much?
Absolutely. I think with just the buzz around that program this week, man, and 17 and a half, I think Tech covers that. Beck has been inconsistent for Miami. Um, he has a turnover problem, and I don't know if he's on the like he feels like he needs to make it happen, like he's
Mm-hmm.
under pressure to be the guy. And, obviously they paid him a bunch of money to come down there to be the guy at Miami, but he's got a lot of pieces around him, man, where he doesn't really have to show it. So for whatever reason, he just tries to do too much for me. And he's had multiple like 3+ turnover games this season. So I can see Vitek because I think the energy in Blacksburg right now, and like you said, recruits are there. Um, that's gonna be the hot place right now.
Yeah. So obviously James Franklin will probably be in attendance on the sideline.
Oh yeah.
One of the biggest things I'm gonna tell you, this game being a noon kickoff probably helps Miami more than anything. Because this game at night in Blacksburg,
Oh
there
yeah.
would be no chance for me that I would even think about picking them to cover that 17 and a half. Something about night games on the road in college football. The crowd is going crazy. Lane Stadium is always a tough place to play. Um, but that said, do you think Miami covers the 17 and a half?
No, no, I don't think they're winning by
So you
17.
so you think Virginia Tech covers 17 and a half?
I think they cover 17.5 because I just feel like Beck is inconsistent, man. He just, well, like you said, granted, it's not a night game, but it's still on the road. Um,
Hmm.
Kid Tony for Miami is electric. He is electric, man. I enjoy seeing him play, but more games than not, he's like the bulk of their offense.
Yeah.
And we watched a couple games this season where they kind of like didn't really go to him as much as they should have. Um, Vitek right now has a decent defense in the games I've watched. Their offense scuffles at times. Same thing with Miami. Good defense, offense scuffles at times. So in a game like that, it's hard to look at it and say, oh yeah, they're going to beat them by 18 plus points. I just think Vitek can cover that, man. As long as they don't turn the ball over,
Yeah.
I think they'll be fine. But I don't think Miami goes to Lane Stadium and blows
So
them out.
no, you bring up some great points, and I'm with you. I think Virginia Tech 17 and a half. I would take the points. Um, Miami's coming off a win last week, 41-7 over NC State. That's the same NC State team that somehow just boggled down Florida State like that. But Virginia Tech lost to Florida State last week.
Yeah, that's true too.
So it's like I don't. The ACC is a weird place, man. You never
Yeah.
know what you're gonna get. Virginia Tech loses to Florida State. Miami absolutely smokes NC State. NC State shuts down Florida State last night, makes it look easy. So you never know what you're gonna get. I feel like I'm with you. Virginia Tech, they're able to run the ball, they're able to control clock, keep Carson Beck on the sideline, and then when Carson Beck is on the field, I feel like they're going to be able to pressure him in that game early and often. You mentioned Tony. One thing you have to do is you have to take away those quick screens to Tony because if they're able to get him involved and get him in space, that could be a problem for Virginia Tech's defense. They don't have those athletes yet to be able to contend with that. So that's absolutely an X factor in that game is to be able to slow him down, make Carson Beck beat you, however, because Miami does have a really, really good running game. And they're going to try to lean on the running game on the road today. So you want to be able to say, hey, Carson Beck, go beat us with your arm. So next up, we got Arizona State, Colorado. Um, to me, more people need to pay attention to this game. Because I feel like, and I think you know where I'm going with this. Because there's a lot of things, a lot of moving pieces in the coaching carousel that could change really quickly based on what happens with Lane Kiffin, right? So you got Arizona State right now, 7-point favorite against Colorado. I feel like Arizona State covers the 7 easily. I've seen nothing from Colorado this year that makes me believe they could even stay in the game against Arizona State, especially if they're healthy.
Yeah.
Now, if Levitt's not playing at quarterback and Tyson's out at wide receiver, it's a different story. But if those two guys are healthy and those two guys are playing, Colorado, I can see them losing this game by 2 touchdowns. Right? What are your thoughts?
Um, like you said, Arizona State's biggest issue this year has been health, man. They got a nice team. I think outside of those injuries, if we're looking at what their record is now, they've been in just about every game they played. They've had some tough road games. They're a physical team.
Mm-hmm.
I think we will be talking about Arizona State in the fringe of the playoff race had they not had injuries.
Yeah.
That's how high I think of Arizona State. I think they have a really complete roster, and I like the kid Levin and kind of what he brings to that team. But like you said, they haven't been able to keep them healthy. But when they are healthy, man, they're tough to stop. So yeah,
Yeah, and I'm not giving Prime a pass. Because he went there with the mindset he's going to keep receipts, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. This is a horrible season, and it's a horrible look, right? And I understand the level and the amount of money he's bringing into the university, but these universities going to bring in money regardless. I'm bringing money regardless. I don't care how much NIL money you got at Colorado. If you can't coach, you can't coach. So, for me, what as far as Dion is concerned, and you talked about his coordinators a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
If Lane if Lane leaves Ole Miss, is that a fit? Same type of moxie, same type of attitude. Like is Prime a fit potentially for Ole Miss if Lane were to leave?
I don't think so. I can't see Prime in Mississippi.
So we're we got Prime in Colorado. You can't
I
see him
mean,
in Mississippi.
well, yeah, that's true.
He went to Jackson State.
Yeah, I mean, but Jackson State was an HBCU though, so it was it
Like
was some ties there.
so,
But
where do you see him at? Because I don't see him in Colorado next season. If he
you
lose
know,
this week and lose next week, what are you keeping him for? To sell
you
tickets?
think they fire him?
I think it's a mutual separation. I really do. Because I'm trying to understand why am I keeping him as the coach? What is he bringing me? Because like I said, the financial piece that's going to be there regardless because of ticket prices, enrollment, that's going to exist.
Yeah,
You must win games. You notice you're starting to see less and less and less Colorado on your TV
absolutely.
now that they don't have Travis Hunter and they don't have Shedeur Sanders. So Deion Sanders alone is not enough. He has to win.
If you're Colorado though, what do you say to that fan base? Like, oh yeah, we mutually agreed to separate with Prime, and now we're gonna bring in Coach. Like, who can you really bring in after Prime
Mm-mm.
to justify it? Because Colorado, they also I agree they're gonna bring money in either way, but they've gotten used to what Prime brings, the attention, the the moxie, the energy, um, and even just the possibility of good recruits. So now you follow up from him with some guy from some mid-major team
Mm-hmm.
that had a winning record that we all got to Google. I, I think I think Prime is there so Prime don't want to be there.
So
'Cause I just feel like there's nowhere for Colorado to go.
you said from Colorado where?
I say there's nowhere for Colorado to go.
Oh,
I think Prime is there as long as he wants to be. Now, if he comes to them like, "Hey, this ain't working," that'll be interesting to see. Because then I'm sure they got all kind of clauses tied into his contract to minimize the amount of money he gets if he walks off. But
so
yeah,
what you're saying is
I
they're
don't know.
losing attention.
Yeah, I think they've been enjoying it because this brought attention to the school as a whole, not just the football program. Um, and like I said, they're still in. Granted, and like you said, they're not on TV as much as they were, but they're still in the conversation. Like we're still sitting here talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, main media is still sitting there talking about them because Prime's there. If you think about before Prime went there, when was the last time we was talking about Colorado? Cordell Stewart? Like, how far do we go back?
Yeah, you got to go back a
Um,
decent time before until since Colorado's had a player of that stature that demanded that level. But if you're just looking in general at Colorado's history, like the 3 years Dion has been there, year one 4-8, year two 9-4, this year 3-7. Okay, so remember the first year they beat TCU out the gate, right?
Right.
So they were ranked eight. They got up to 18 in the polls. Um, 2024 when they went 9-4, which would have been last year. Hunter and Shedeur together, they got up to 16. Okay, now that's a 3 year. So we're looking at 3 years: 4-8, 9-4, 3-7. Now you go to the prior 3 years before that, you got 1-11, 4-8, and then the COVID year 4-2, and they were ranked 21. So if I take 2024 out, which was last season, Prime is
Right.
giving me 3-7 and 4-8. That's what he's giving me, and probably a loss today. So maybe 3-8.
Yeah. I mean,
So what I
so
tell my fan base, I tell you what I tell my fan base. We're no better with Deion Sanders here than we were without him. And if the job for me as a president of the university and an athletic director at that school, I want to win. I
yeah,
want to win
absolutely.
because you're not winning with Dion. You're just not. I mean, Colorado was ranked 9 in 2016. They got up to 19 in 2018. They got up to number 21 in 2020. These is all years without Dion there. So it's not. I think there's a notion like Colorado was going like 0-13, and that's not true.
Yeah,
And
no, they weren't bad.
they have far more talent now than they had on those teams. So if you're telling me he has more talent, he has more resources, he has more guys around the program that have NFL experience, but we're 3-7. We're 3-7.
Something's got to change there. Um, I feel like he gets a chance to right the ship before he gets fired. I feel like, and like you said, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. We don't really know who the coordinators are
Right.
there. They have nobody with any type of history of being good, or at least not on that level. Maybe they have. I still don't know those guys' names, and that's crazy because typically I know the coordinator's name, but he's got to get somebody in there
Mm-hmm.
that he respects, that he trusts, to legit help him right that ship. Like he's got to get a. He went out and got a talented quarterback and a kid. Was it Salter.
Yeah.
Uh, I think he's a good kid. I think he's a good player. But you got to put the right people around him, man. And yeah, they have NFL, guys coming in there, and Ray Lewis is good pep talks and all that stuff. But you got to have coordinators there, man, that can really gel with these kids, that can really scheme things up to the strength of these kids. And I just don't feel like they have that. With Shedeur there and Travis there last year, the biggest issue was the offensive line. You had the one kid you brought in, but outside of that, there was nobody there. So they've been light in the trenches the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Hiring you an offensive line coach that is a guy that can pull that O line together, that can get you straight up front, that can, if you guys are going to be a zone run scheme or whatever it's going to be, um, that can get you right there. Go get you a D line coach that can get you right because their defensive tackles um, have been some of the smallest I've ever seen since he's been there. You need help on that side of the ball in the trenches, and you got, like I said, you got to get these coordinators together, man. They just, to me, they don't have the right personnel to go with these players. Like you said, they got talent. They got more talent than they've ever had, but they don't have the right coaches in place to develop that talent. And until that happens, they'll keep being like this. So I'm hoping he takes a step back in this offseason and say, hey, whether it's buddies or what, look, I gotta let you guys go. It's a lot of guys, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator in this portal. It's gonna be some solid head coaches that are gonna be let go, that either have a defensive or offensive background. that he can bring in with no problem to be his coordinator, um, and they can start to get it together. Because I think he can be good in Colorado. I think he can be 7, 8+ win team every season in Colorado if he starts it with the right personnel on the coaching staff and then goes from there. Because recruiting, being prime, is never going to be a problem. He's always going to be in the conversation. If Deion Sanders calls my house right now looking for my son, we're considering Colorado. Like that's what it is. Um, so he's got to he just got to take a step back, man, and address that part of the program before he addresses the kids. Can we agree on that? Yeah. Okay. So now that Shedeur is gone, and Shiloh is gone, his kids. Yeah. He done. I, but you know what that means? Florida State needs to pick up the phone. They need to bring him home. If they're firing Norvell, it's Prime or it's Fisher. That's it. That's it. It's Prime or it's Fisher. The lane at the Florida, the lane Deion Sanders. Absolutely. God. We're talking about money. Money. That would be insane. Yeah. 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 Look, look, Florida State, that's the type of hire they need, man. They need a big time hire. And can't, don't get much bigger than that. So, yeah. Um, it's hard. It's always hard to pick against the duck. Up in Austin, man. Uh, I think they win that game because as of late, USC gets into these games and they have a slow start with continuing to run.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing we've seen with Oregon this year is they can throw the rock. And if USC is going to get off to that slow start as far as the adjustments and trying to stop the run, Oregon's going to have 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns real fast. So it's hard for me to pick against that Oregon team with what's on the line. We're talking about a playoff spot. We're talking about a possible spot in the Big Ten championship as well as I think both teams have one loss in conference. Everybody's kind of trailing Ohio State. I know it's 4 or 5 teams in the Big Ten. I think they have one loss in conference. So it's a lot on the line, and I just can't see with it being in Oregon doing anything but winning this game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Oregon wins this game easily. USC defensively has been suspect all year. Oregon's defense has been one of the top defenses in the country. I really don't think there's much to this game at all. It's a 10.5 point spread. I think Oregon easily covers the 10.5 point spread. At home, Moore being healthy at quarterback. It's as simple as that, man. I
Yeah,
love
or
watching USC's offense, but I just feel like Oregon's defense will be too much for them.
yeah, and to me, in my opinion, I feel like Oregon's had their scare with that game in Iowa. Like,
They had they scare and they had they lost that game with Indiana.
yeah,
So they have
yeah,
no more margin for error heading into this game today against USC. They need to get it done, and they need to get it done convincingly. I believe they will. They will.
they
Got
will.
something special for you, man.
All right.
Got something special. Michigan Wolverines and the Maryland Terrapins. Um, yeah, I see a Michigan hat right behind you.
You already know.
So talk me through this. You convinced me. Wait, first, you may not even be taking your team, which I wouldn't be surprised. 14 point spread.
I don't think Michigan covers the spread. I don't think they. I think it was what 14 was 13 and a half, 14 and a half, whatever it is. I don't think they cover the spread. I do think they win the game,
What?
and that's yeah. The way they've been
Hold up,
playing,
hold up.
well,
This your
the way
team, bro.
yeah. But I'm a realist at the same time. I'm a realist at the same time. I'm never going to do too much. I'm not one of those fans that is just, oh yeah, we're going to beat them by 30, and nah, I'm gonna be real. Um, the offense without Haynes hasn't been as smooth. Uh, Marshall had a great game last week versus
Mm-hmm.
Northwestern, but he ended up going down. I believe it was late in the third quarter. So we went to our third string running back, Cuzdall, who I believe is actually he was a walk on initially. And it's wild to think about Michigan's third string running back being a walk on, but the kid's got some talent. I believe, based on what I've been reading, is that he's going to be the starter at running back
Okay.
because Marshall's going to dress, but he's probably not going to play. They're trying to save him for O State next week. So knowing what I know about the running game and not having one of those two, uh, you know, guys back there in Marshall and Haynes, I think Michigan still wins the game. I just don't think they cover the 14, which
I'm
is
with
fine
you.
because one thing about Michigan football, they're not trying to blow anybody out. They're just trying to win the game. And so the objective is to get to 9-2, O State next week in the big house with a playoff spot on the line.
A playoff
If we beat
spot.
if we beat O State, we in the playoffs. That's guaranteed. Come on, that's the best. That would be the best win in the country. A
Bro,
10-2
if
Michigan
Michigan
team
get in
would
the
win over
playoffs, they're
Ohio
gonna
State.
get dog walk.
That's what everybody said last year too. We had a guy that was a walk on at quarterback.
Okay.
We got something. We got
Okay.
something
Here,
for him,
here.
man. We got something for him.
So I don't do a dog of the day. That's your thing, and we ready to get to that next. Not only does Maryland cover the 14, Maryland could potentially outright win this game.
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you why. Michigan's offense is suspect. As good as their defense is, their offense is suspect. You got two, I think, probably the two best freshman quarterbacks in the country. Do you agree?
I mean, well, you got to include saying in that. Sing was a freshman too, right?
Yeah. So
Ohio State.
yeah, but
But yeah, I mean, two of
he
the
got
best.
a way of weapons around him.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Like like three
Um,
first round
bunch of
receivers.
right.
Malik Washington to me, if he outplays your boy,
Mhm.
Bryce, not the real
Yeah.
Bryce, but the fake Bryce. He outplays Bryce Underwood, not Brycey
There you go.
James, Bryce Underwood. If he outplays him, I feel like Maryland wins this game, man. I feel like Maryland could win this game. And I think you know that, which is why you weren't willing to take the 45-minute ride up 95 to go see your team play. Because you didn't want to
Listen,
have
man.
that disappointment on your face driving back down 95 after taking that L. That's what it was all about. It ain't had nothing to do with anything else. You ain't want to go see Michigan lose in purpose.
Hey, look, I'm still considering to go out there and tailgate, man. Game start at 4, so I still got time to get there and tailgate. That ain't no problem. Either way, whether I'm there or not, the dub is gonna happen. I like Malik Washington too. I think he's a very good player.
He gonna be
I
dicing.
had high,
He gonna be dicing. Oh.
I had high hopes from Maryland overall as a team. At the way they started the season, man, they came out the gate hot. And I like their coach Loxley, but it doesn't sound like this might be his last ride with them. Um, but to think he's going to come down,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
Say
just
it.
having a Michigan defense is crazy. He ain't seen nothing like this all season, bro.
That's what I've been waiting
Wait,
for.
Wait gonna be throwing everything but the kitchen sink at the kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's not gonna be able to sit back there. Um, the you already know the front seven on Michigan is legit. You got
Yeah.
guys like Derek Moore. He in out of St. Francis now, a senior at Michigan. He's coming back home. He's gonna make a statement. It's
Yeah.
4 or 5 guys, I believe, on the defensive loan that between Sharon Moore and Harbaugh that are starting that has come out of Maryland because we know it's no offense on Maryland. Uh, so to think those guys ain't gonna come play and try to make a statement and come with an attitude, come on. The defense, I think the defense wins this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Michigan probably wins about 6 points. Um, not too crazy, but historically, this game where Michigan comes to Maryland has always been good. I mean, you even go back to 2023, the championship year. I think Michigan only won by like 8 points or something like that. It was a good game. Mikey Sanders ended up getting a pick late in the game on Tua little brother. So I think it'll be a good game. I think Maryland has a solid roster. They've had some health issues and different things, but I think Michigan comes in here. They come in there with a blue collar attitude, get the work done. Let's get back and prepare for the boys from that other state, man.
See, y'all looking forward to Ohio State and don't even realize what's about to happen to y'all today.
No,
All that
it,
hell, there will be no hell anything today. Nothing.
I mean, you said this last week too, man. You
Man,
got us
look,
every.
they had y'all on the hook.
If we being honest, we had ourselves on the hook.
And that was a worse team.
We almost beat ourselves. 5 turnovers, multiple fumbles, 2 missed field goals. That wasn't Michigan football. But we get back to it this week. No worries. We'll get back to it. Look for the young boy Andrew Marsh at receiver, man.
Okay.
He had 12 catches for $189 last week. I expect another great game from him. Maryland ain't got nobody that can check that young man.
So I'm with you. I either think I agree with a lot of what you're saying in regards to the breakdown and the analysis. Michigan either wins this game for me going away, or Maryland wins it close. I think if it's a close game, I'm gonna lean towards Maryland. Um, Corey, wow. Can't even say what he just said. But if it's a close game, I feel like it'll benefit Maryland. I feel like they'll be able to make a play to win it. However, for me, Michigan win this game, I feel like they win it going away. I think they covered. I think they win by more than 14. Or Maryland upsets them. That's where I am with this one. But let's get into your own personal segment, and you've been killing it. 8-4 on the season as far as your actual picks. Tell us what you like today, Joe. Where should we
Today,
put our money at?
quick little parlay. I got Oklahoma on the money line today over Missouri. I got Iowa minus 12.5 over Michigan State today. Michigan State is reeling. Um, they've been falling apart all season. It seems like every week they get a little bit worse. So I expect Iowa State. I think they have the spread right now at 17.5, 18.5. I took them at 12.5 just because Iowa's offense isn't the greatest, but also Michigan State doesn't seem to be able to stop many people right now.
Yeah.
And then I have Vandy at minus 3.5 uh, today. So I think they should cover that as well. Vandy has been good this year. They've had a tough schedule and they've had some tough losses. Um, but I expect them to hold it down today and get the win. And it'll probably be 6 or 7 points, but I took it at minus 3.5 because I'm safe. And then of course my dog of the day, and this week was tough, man, because the matchups, a lot of them are pretty close.
Yeah, they are. There's some really
As far
good
as they can
football
go
today.
either way.
Some
Yeah.
good
So
football today.
I really just tried to look at a good game with some plus money on it. And I'm gonna take Cincinnati over BYU. Um, at Cincinnati, that Cincinnati team is tough, man. Defensively, they're physical. BYU, while their offense has been good for the majority of the season,
Mm-hmm.
they've been getting banged up. Teams have been getting physical with them, and you know the score has shown it. They've gotten beat up on the last couple of weeks. So I think Cincinnati continues that trend and gets a dub over BYU today.
I like it. I love it. And God damn it, if you're wrong, I'm gonna be hurt because I smashed that Oklahoma money line on about 3 tickets already today. Man, at noon we got what we 36 minutes from kickoff of that
Yep.
Oklahoma game. That's going to determine almost my whole get on my whole day.
Yeah. And I still got to get a couple parlays in myself. So
So
yeah.
we out of here. But yeah, I'm with you. That Oklahoma game, man. So Oklahoma. So my one lock of the day, I'll throw this in there, is I went SMU at home. Um, I think SMU at home is one of the toughest. It's a very underrated place to play. Not only that, SMU has a very underrated roster. They have a ton of guys that they've gotten out of the transfer portal. Um, Louisville has had some questionable injuries. Miller Mons, don't know if he's going to play. I know he's listed as questionable right now. If Miller Mons doesn't play today, I definitely love SMU. But even with Miller Mons playing, SMU flies around on defense. Kevin Jennings at quarterback is an absolute dynamic with the ball in his hands. Dual threat quarterback can make things happen, and he's tough as freaking nails, man. The guy gets hurt, he comes back, plays through injury consistently. I love SMU as my lock as far as a noon game is concerned. But the Oklahoma thing, we Oklahoma got to come through against Missouri. They have to. They have
Yeah.
to.
I think the starting quarterback for Missouri is going to play today. Purple or something like that. Um, he's going to play
Okay.
today. So I know he's coming back from the injury. And two, just to touch on the SMU game, man. Louisville, I had high hopes for Louisville, man. 'Cause they look good in so many games this season, that defense, and then they just these last couple of weeks, I don't know, it's just been rough. I think they lost to Cal last week, which
Louisville.
was a surprise. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, that was surprising to me. So, which I mean, Cal's not terrible, but I would think, the same Louisville team that went to Miami and beat Miami would be able to handle Cal. But yeah, I'm with you on the SMU pick. I just think SMU is very underrated. Um,
Mhm.
but when they get going, especially offensively, man, they're tough to beat.
Just in the playoff last year. Just in the playoff last year.
Yep.
Well, again, appreciate everybody tuning in. Joe, we appreciate your expertise. We appreciate your picks. Everybody in the chat, we thank you for your love. Thank you for your support, man. Make sure you guys continue to tune in to these episodes. Make sure if you don't follow us on Instagram, make sure you're following us on TikTok. We will be back live on TikTok also next week. So that's going to be great to be able to get back on that platform, bring in a bigger audience as well. But we appreciate your feedback. We appreciate your thoughts in the chat. It's Saturday.
Yes, sir.
I don't know where you're at.
Hell,
It's 80 degrees outside.
ain't 80 degrees here, but
I'm about to go enjoy some football outside. What were you about to say, Joe?
I said it ain't 80 degrees here.
Oh, I thought you were saying something before that.
Oh no, I'm just saying hell.
Hell. Maryland got something for y'all. We gonna see. All right, man. Appreciate y'all. Have a great weekend. We may see you tomorrow morning for some Sunday picks. Joe might have some locks for us on Sunday morning.
Hey, I got you. I got you.